Hello, hello. What up, Wolf? Good to see you, sir.
What's up, brother?
All right. All right. Did I change the thing? Hold on. No, I didn't. All right, hold on. Before we start, I would like just to watch this esports show trailer so I know what we're talking about. Have you seen it?
The trailer, yeah.
It's a comedy?
Yeah, fictional comedy.
With greatness comes high expectations.
I don't have regrets. I'm proud of my legacy.
Esports is one of
What's up, gameplay? How are you?
in the world.
I'm just watching this
Most fans think about
Paramount
gaming,
Plus
they think
shows
of one
trailer
name,
for esports.
and that's
They're all
Cream.
shared in
I
chat.
put him right up there with best all time.
I've played in huge arenas, gotten a ton of girls. I bought a Porsche.
Cream cheese has a bit of a reputation for being
There we go. I put it in chat.
Hey, buddy.
annoying.
Back when Cream Cheese started playing, players didn't have million-dollar contracts.
Girls didn't think we were hot, you know, not in the way they do now. In 2015, we started Team Fugitive together.
It's 1 minute in the trailer, Nuge, and I'm already not interested.
We were kind
I
of
actually didn't think it was like that
It doesn't look
bad.
bad. It just doesn't look like a like.
Yes. Honestly, we'll probably win.
Could be a little corny, but it could have some like.
He never met
It
the
looks like they.
expectations that
I
he
think it's
set
just
for
like
himself.
it looks very real, and I think that's why I'm not interested in
It's
it.
just a matter of time until Cream Cheese is no longer the face of the franchise. Because fans are ready for the era of organism.
Like I don't know if it's gonna be entertaining for me.
Yeah.
He wanted to play
It doesn't look
with
bad.
Future.
It doesn't-
I've been watching
I mean, the
Future
only problem I have is
so
Paramount
many
Plus, so I'm not gonna
hours,
watch
so many
it. But it looks like something like if it was on Netflix, I would probably tune in.
This is true. It's on Paramount Plus.
He was so obsessed with the game that he didn't want to waste time going to the bathroom.
People use this.
Let me grab some more water right before we start, Tim.
Okay.
It's for piss jar.
He's gonna be the youngest pro player in North America.
It was so dope.
And then you took my job.
They want to see organism start.
You cannot,
Then you took my job. Then you took my job.
Looks
They
like
want to see organism
Shay.
start.
you cannot do this to us. I can't play with him. I've been here for 5 years. You've been here for 5 minutes.
Organism pop up in the middle.
Into the middle?
Cream cheese just wants people to listen to cream cheese.
Do you not click so loud?
Everyone was dying to know how Organism's game would translate to the pros.
Organism started walking up to this purple worm thing, looked like Grimace's from McDonald's, and he died, and everybody started cussing him out.
Ow! I hit a stud. I want to win one year of my life.
We were all wondering if this big bet on a kid with no
I
team
mean, you know.
experience would pan out, or would it be a colossal
It
failure?
looks.
I don't have that much time left.
It looks okay. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't. It looks like they gave a good respect towards esports. I would say it doesn't look like it's over the top cheesy or making fun of it. So, like some of the comments are like, "That looks hilarious." I didn't. You know, I don't know if I laughed, but you know, it's okay. It's okay. It looks okay. We are just waiting for Anuj to get some water, and then we will get this shindig on the road. Make sure Wi-Fi is turned on. Open control settings. Add new accessory. Holy shit. Make sure your Wi-Fi is turned on. Open control center settings. I don't fucking know. Make sure your Wi-Fi is turned on. Open control center settings. Open settings, and it doesn't do it. I don't understand. It's a fucking light, Elgato. What am I missing here, Anuj? Why is connecting a fucking light being so difficult?
So you see the light that's on my couch? I'm sorry, the one in the lamp over here?
Yeah.
This was connected to the Hue to my like Alexa on my internet. Ever since I changed my router, I can never get it reconnected. It like goes on and off the whole time. It says it's like on, then it says it's off, so now I just manually do it.
Like, okay, is that maybe that's off then? Maybe that's what. Okay, so let's see. Adding. Make sure the accessory is connected to power and turned on. You need to connect to new accessories to your Wi-Fi network. Because that makes sense, I guess. I don't get it. I don't know how anyone has the patience to do all this stuff. Let me just... I'm going to try to connect this light one more time. And if not, I'll give up and we could just start.
Okay.
Alright. So it says, make sure Wi-Fi is turned on. It's on. Open control center settings. So I'm going to say, open settings. And it opens up my phone settings, not the app settings. I'm out of ideas. I try to go to the app within the settings to see if I'm missing something.
Nothing.
Nothing. Permissions. No permissions denied. Everything is good. I am on Wi-Fi, obviously. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Press and hold the power switch for 10 seconds until the second position, until it blinks 3 times. Release the power, wait 5 seconds. Now turn on the key light by setting the power position 1. All right, hold on. 1 second. Now I'm determined. One, two. All right. Let's see. All right, it's blinking at me. I feel confident. I feel good. Hey, there we go, boys. Possibly. Looks like it's thinking. Okay. All right, fuck it. You ready, sir?
Yep.
Let's just deal with this light freaking out. All right. Let's do this. Welcome. What episode is this? Hello and welcome to episode 383 of the Center Ring Esports podcast presented by Philly Esports. And this is going to be the best episode ever because it is a loaded episode, ladies and gentlemen. We have day 1 of the CSGO Major. We have too soon review for Overwatch 2 / Overwatch League / Overwatch. And DreamHack Dallas Survival Guide. It's a 3-parter, so you know it's going to be long AF. So get your popcorn, get your drinks ready, get settled in, because it's going to be a good one. But before we get to that, let me tell you about our good friends, the good dudes, the goodest of dudes, Philly Esports. PhillyEsports.gg is where you need to go when you want to sign up for free easy money. And no, we're not talking about some betting scam website. This is not some NFT. This is where you will start your esports career, folks. PhillyEsports.gg. They host multiple monthly online events and in person now that COVID's kind of somewhat settling down. But they do have one coming up here May 27th. Online Collegiate League of Legends Tournament. Completely free to sign up, sponsored by the U.S. Army, prize pool $3,000. It can't get any easier than that to start your esports career. Or if all else fails, you could probably walk right over to a U.S. Army booth, sign up, and boom, backup plan. That's what we call planning ahead. So do it right now, PhillyEsports.gg.
Hey, this is Lige, and you're listening to TCR.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, and welcome to episode 383 of the Center Ring Esports podcast, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast presented by Philly Esports. This is episode 383, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The time is the date is May 9th, 2022. The time is 9:28 p.m. Central Time. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. And join our Discord. The link's in the description of said Twitter account. Go figure. My name is Tim. I will be your captain for this journey into esports. And alongside me, as always, he's my best friend. He's my brown friend. It's Anuj. What's up?
Dude, I don't even know if we have time for intros. We got to work with some finesse today.
We got a lot to talk about. And look, I don't know how long this light is going to work for me. It's on the fritz. I got new internet over the weekend. And
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm part of the 1 gig family now. We've said it before, but, PSA, public service announcement, call your internet provider, folks. If it's been a while, call them, because I promise you they're ripping you off. No doubt. I called mine for the first time since we moved into this house, so 5 years. Anuj, I was getting 150. 150, was it megs?
Yeah.
Up and down. Paying $98 a month for it. I am now getting 1 gig for $23 less.
Yeah, that's impressive. I did something similar. Went from 300 to 1 gig, saved about $9-10 a month.
Yeah, it's incredible. And they won't call you. So you need to call them and say, yo, what's the latest here? What am I looking at? So do that right now. But then at the same time, I don't know how long you're going to be here, Anuj, because you're dying. So we almost didn't do the show tonight, but you, thankfully, look, to all those snowflakes out there, we have a warrior right in front of us.
Well, I finally lost the battle, Tim, after two long, hard years of fighting to stay away from the vid. It has got me and my wife, and so, yeah, man, we've been down the last couple of days, and it's a little better today. I'm just heavily congested, and I have a constant cough, so you'll hear it throughout the show. I'm not even going to try to mute myself every time I'm about to cough because it'll happen way too often. So yeah, it's been shitty, but hey, thankfully vaccinated, so I guess it's not going to kill me. That's what they say, at least, and
that's what the government wants you to think.
We'll get through this.
Well, hey, man. I'm still COVID free. I feel like I'm in those zombie movies, Last Survivor, and I don't know how I've avoided it, to be honest, because I've been pretty laxed about everything since, I don't know, 6 months ago or so, kind of when everyone else just kind of decided that, you know what, COVID doesn't exist anymore, right? We're all okay with it. So I'm assuming it's eventually going to get to me. On the positive side, as you and I have always said, if I was going to make one stupid decision, I want it to be DreamHack Dallas. If I get COVID at DreamHack Dallas, so be it. It was worth it. And now, at least for you, it's I've had this, guys.
I'm not going to get it again,
done.
So I feel
right.
I feel pretty good. I'm going to get sick with something else at DreamHack Dallas, but
listen, unavoidable. And we'll talk about that later in the show for DreamHack Dallas. But spoiler alert: take your vitamin C before you go, because
DreamHack Dallas is a good test to let you know if you're going to get sick from your children often if you don't have any. If you get sick when you go to these big lands, you're going to get sick a lot when you have a child. Get ready.
Yeah, I have yet to go to a DreamHack and not be severely ill the days that lead afterwards. It's just inevitable, the con fever, as they call it. And that was pre-COVID, so I can only imagine now what's going to happen. Anuj, let's start off where we left off last week. Or actually, would you like to make the big show announcement now? I guess we should.
Yeah.
We should. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it now.
Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. So, big show announcement, drum roll, trumpets. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off here. So we've been doing the show now for a very, very long time. I would say upwards to 6 or 7 years. Doing 1 episodes a week, going to 2 episodes a week, then back to 1, and it's been an amazing, and you guys have been along with us for the journey. Anuj, you joined around, I believe, episode 47 or 48, right? Somewhere in that ballpark. Very, very early on, which back then felt like, man, we're like 50 episodes in and you're joining us.
I thought, I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to like catch on to this. Like they're just so far gone.
Well, a little show update, life update. We have decided, Anuj and I have talked about it, episode 400 will be, I don't want to say last episode of the Centering Esports podcast, but it will be for the foreseeable future the last weekly show that we sit down and do. We'll still be on to obviously stream, probably a little more because we don't have to pay attention as much to matches and watch them and things like that. And
we'll also make it a point to stream more. Just to like make sure we're involved with you guys or just don't completely vanish, you know, because we're still going to be gaming and we'll still be around. And as Tim and I have discussed on this show numerous times, we love to keep y'all involved with our life, right? Like what's going on with our families and the different challenges that we have as parents and young parents, and Tim, parent of 2, and me soon to be parent of 2 here in September, which is playing a part in this. But you know, we felt like it was a good time to take a step back, you know, focus on our other day-to-day responsibilities that we have, and then always leave the door open to come back because we're still going to be watching esports. There's still going to be Counter-Strike majors that we're going to want to share our opinions about, or other big events throughout the year that maybe we want to get on and talk about. So we're not disbanding the guild, as they say. But, you know, we feel like it's just a good time in life to take a step back, take a breath, not have to focus on watching 5-6 different esports events a week just to somewhat be able to keep up. And we still feel like we're behind half the time. So
that's, I think, really what it comes down to, right? I mean, obviously, and look, we are purposely making this announcement very early on, right? It's episode 383, so it's 17 episodes until episode 400. And me, selfishly, I asked Anuj, and I have talked about it, and you're like, hey, just time is valuable as we have families and things like that. And I selfishly said, hey, just get me to 400, right? I just want to hit that milestone, so I very much appreciate you toughing it out for now while wife is preggo with number 2. And I'm sure between now and 400, we'll give more details and things like that. And look, there were a million times where we were like, this is it, and we've officially made it, and then that's been pulled back. And, there's a lot of things involved with this, right? Where obviously I still think the longest running esports podcast ever.
No one's going to touch 400
ever.
No one's going to touch. Somebody's going to have to get a Spotify deal for 5 years to get on 400. And look, like it's been a blessing to be able to do this with you. Like Tim and I's friendship has evolved 150 times what it was prior to being on the show together. So I feel like I got a lifelong friend out of this.
Look, before we started the show, I was dating my now wife at the time, working a part-time job in radio. Like I was in college, and now I am married to said girlfriend. We have 2 kids. I have a full-time job that has overlapsed, what was supposed to just be something to pay the bills, have been at for 8 years now. And it's kind of, look, life catches up. That's ultimately the bottom line. Obviously, we would love to do the show full-time. And obviously, we love esports enough to work in it. But sometimes life catches up to the grind, and you just can't outgrind it anymore. And that's the reality of it. So unless someone listening right now has like $1 million they want to sign us to a contract for, episode 400 will be the last. And I say for now, right? Never say never in this world of content, right? But as far as like the dedicated weekly shows of paying attention to every news that drops and events and watching VODs and things like that, it's just Gonna dial it back a little bit and just relax.
Just breathe for a little bit, you
relax,
know, and
quite frankly.
Not worry about it throughout the week. Watch the events I really only want to watch or have time to watch. And look, it's another way for us to hopefully continue our journey in this community that we've built. It's awesome. Let's go play some more games together. Maybe the occasional Mondays when we want to get away from the wife, we just make it a stream night with everyone, and any games that people are playing, we'll hop in and do. But
yeah,
look, it's been cool, man. It's been a lot of fun, and we've got to do a lot of great things, attend a lot of amazing events, meet a lot of really interesting and fun people, and so I don't regret 1 minute of it. It's always been something fun for me to also share with my friends and family, even if they don't understand what I'm doing. It's just something that I've taken pride in and in doing it well, and I think we did a really good job. I really do. We were never the big time, we never made it huge. Obviously, we wouldn't be stopping if we did. But I feel like we made an impact on the scene. We kept it honest. We kept it fun. And look, the reason we're telling you all this early is also to be able to enjoy these last few months with you guys. We want to make these last 15 plus episodes a lot of fun. We might be more honest than usual. We're not burning bridges on our way out, as Tim said earlier, but we are, it's just a way for y'all to know what's in our mind as we wrap up. And look, we got to have some fun with it, and that's what we're going to do.
If you want to hear the brutal answer, join our Discord.
Yeah.
Come play games with us and see how fast it takes me to get a loose tongue.
Not
long at all. So with that being said, I think it's best we just start the show off being honest. And so for the first topic today, Anuj, I just want to bring up, what's the deal with women in esports? I mean, seriously.
And we are canceled at 385. Oh, man.
I mean, how do they play? No, I tease, of course. It's a joke. No, so again, episode 383, we're going to get to 400 and go from there, right? Maybe still do the Timmys later on, maybe do major previews, things like that, or if something comes up and we feel like we want to talk about it. But
I think the Timmys we got to come back for.
We'll see.
I think the Timmys, we got to find a way to do that, because we're not saving these stupid Yikes of the week for nothing in that Excel sheet. Just for the fact that we finally did that this year, I feel like we got to come back.
Yeah, go figure. We finally decide to keep track of things. The year we decide to call it quits is also the year that we were like, you know what? Would it be helpful if we kept these on a spreadsheet or something rather than try to think of everything the night before? So, no, look, it's been real. It's been fun. And look, we still got 13 episodes, so let's not be too down about it right now and just
17,
have some fun.
right?
Or 17. 17, yeah, I sold myself short. So 17 episodes. So, it's been fun. Speaking of fun, or lack thereof, Anuj, do you have anything, do you have anything else left to say?
No.
Like I said, we'll probably bring it up every show.
It's going to come up a handful of times, and I'll save the sappiness maybe for 400.
Yeah, 400, we'll open up the book and go through story times and the almost made it, what we felt we were sold short on, and friendships and enemies and all that. We'll leave it for 400. So there you have it. Maybe if you have any questions, though, about the show or how it started or anything in the life, ask us in Discord or DM us, and then that way we have stuff to talk about for 400. So, there's that. Okay, so let's start off where we left off last week.
Back to bashing Overwatch 2. Let's go.
Let's get right into the show here, what we do best. We didn't get to it last week. It was the too soon review for Overwatch 2, and we just ran out of time. So, with that being said, I'm glad we waited, because Blizzard has already made some good changes. Overwatch League has started, and I do view Overwatch, and I'm just going to say Overwatch, right? There is no Overwatch 2.
It's Overwatch 1.5.
We're not going to say Overwatch 2 every time. It's just,
no.
It's
Overwatch.
It's COD, right? You don't say are you going to watch the COD Vanguard tournament? No, I'm watching the COD tournament. It's same
Yeah.
thing. Overwatch,
Counter-Strike, all of them,
Right.
same
It's
shit.
just Overwatch. And even more so with Overwatch 2. It's just Overwatch. And we'll get to that in a moment. But I am glad we waited because I view Overwatch League and Overwatch one and the same. Like, one cannot live without the other, and when one dies, so will the other. Is that fair to say, you think?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, if the game all of a sudden dies, eventually the league's going to die. And if they decide to stop supporting the league, you bet your ass Overwatch is on the chopping block. I mean, Blizzard killed off StarCraft, which was like their staple, one of their pillar games, and they killed it. So they ain't keeping Overwatch around if Overwatch League fails. So there was that. So about Overwatch 2, though, I played the beta, and I am surprised on how much of a beta it is. Like, you and I played this years ago at BlizzCon when they first announced it, and it was PvE. We played like the one PvE mission. But that being said, this is like a real beta. Like, they are really testing things out and, you know, like already having game crashing bugs, which they have fixed, but like balancing things like that out. Like, I thought this was going to be kind of like okay, the game's pretty much done and they're releasing it and everything's good. And I was kind of shocked and a little confused that this was like an actual, like, this felt like a beta.
Yeah, because like the only reason it's unusual is because the Pro League is started.
This is what the Pro Leagues are playing on.
This was like the beta was like the kickoff event for Pro League is what it felt like, right?
Yeah.
And so you do feel like it should have been in a better state. And I did not play. I got into the beta. I did not have a lot of interest in playing, but that's not a knock on Overwatch. I've just never been like an Overwatch fan in general, so it's never been my thing. But I didn't have interest to go and play, but I did watch a lot of streams, right? I kept it on. I made sure to watch, who was that ex-Fuel player, Taimu or whatever. Seagull. I was Seagull. I was watching Seagull for a while there. XQC, obviously, I just tuned in to he had crazy viewer count just to see what was going on. You know, I did not see a ton of bugs during their gameplay, honestly. Like, it seemed like they were complaining about little things here and there. I was more shocked at just how much of a lookalike. Like, I couldn't tell the difference.
Right.
Obviously, the 5v5 is different. I get that. That's a big change.
And like, there's some visuals and like oddly enough, the audio is really different and it almost seems like it's screwed up. Like, I've played
and like an audio change is like, sure, it can be a big deal, but that just seems like a patch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
that
I hope
doesn't
so,
feel
because like from like a competitive standpoint, it felt like a big deal. Like, you couldn't I couldn't figure out where people were because like the audio.
Yeah, so it's like it was worse in your mind.
Yeah. Oh, I thought way worse. Like, it was different.
Even like the day-night changes on the maps, like those are just like such minor things that like stood out. Like, I was like, oh, this is like the map looks different. Why? Oh, it's nighttime. Okay, that's why. You know, but like as a whole, watching it, honest to God, Tim, I felt like I was watching. Like, it was the exact same in my eyes.
Right.
I couldn't notice
now
one single difference in a viewership experience.
I will play devil's advocate here for Overwatch because, you know, I was an Overwatch fanboy at one point in time, so I just feel obligated to play some devil's advocate here. If you have kept up with the Blizzard updates, which they've been, I felt like, okay on, being honest with their updates, this was not a surprise. Right, like the updates were pretty spot on for what it was going to be. If you've listened to the podcast, Anuj and I have said and warned many people, if you are expecting Overwatch 2 to change your mind on Overwatch, you're going to be disappointed, because even from the early access that we got to play, we were like, oh, okay. It's Overwatch.
I was still slightly in the back of my mind, though, hoping that
you're right.
there would be
Right.
something that would, like, because we played it 3 years ago, 4 years ago now. It's been a while, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I was like, you know what? Maybe, like, I'm going to watch this and, like,
I think,
visually
though,
it's going to grip me.
What a lot of people still don't know is if you have Overwatch 1, you get the multiplayer. As a Overwatch 2 should really, and this is kind of on Blizzard's fault for marketing it the way they did, Overwatch 2 should be marketed as a PvE experience, right? The single player campaign experience that they're adding.
They're pushing sales. They don't want to.
I know, because Overwatch 2 multiplayer is a free update for anyone who already owns Overwatch. If you own Overwatch 1 and all you care about is the multiplayer, you don't have to spend a penny to get what's going on to Overwatch 2. It's all being added to the game. So there's that. So I understand why.
Can I say it's criminal that it's $60 though for the PvE experience?
Is it $60?
It's full price.
Oh my, that is.
It feels a little criminal.
Hey, Anuj,
that it's like
you got to pay for those sexual assault lawsuits somehow. Okay. $40 games don't pay for sexual assault lawsuits. $60.
I believe it's like a full price game. So I mean,
oh, wow.
$60
okay.
is.
That is pretty. Listen, I am not going to advise on that one, but
can you play devil's advocate on that?
No.
I mean,
that's rough.
That should be like a $30.
Yeah.
Type thing.
So, but as far as the multiplayer goes, I get it. That's why. Now, my beef with this though, okay, it also did the feeling that like most games, like how Splitgate just makes me want to go play Halo. Overwatch just kind of made me want to go play Gundam Evolution again. Like I know when I said we played Gundam Evolution and I was like, man, this kind of just makes me want to go play Overwatch. No. It's the reverse now.
For you?
It's the reverse now because Gundam Evolution has somehow figured out what Overwatch can't, and I'll hands up, I was wrong on this one. The role queue is absolutely miserable. So I was in the beta, I played for a few nights, but it's like no one.
How long were you waiting? 6 to 8 minutes?
Anuj,
roughly?
I don't care if I'm a streamer. I don't care if I'm a professional. I don't care if I'm in gold rank, diamond rank. It doesn't matter. I am not going to wait around 6 to 8 minutes in between every match to play. I'm just not. It's not going to happen. It would be different
if it was like a full Counter-Strike game where you're playing for an hour and then maybe you got to wait.
Yeah, these things could be 12, 15 minutes and you're out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the game could be as long as the queue time almost. And so, yeah, I noticed that watching the streams that a lot of the times when I would glance over to see what was going on, they were sitting in.
If you want to play tank, which is what I like to play, good luck. Because you're waiting 10 minutes between every game. I got to play one game of tank and I was like, yeah, dude, like I don't have all day. Like the only people who get to play tank are streamers who get to sit around all day.
And I need you to think about the fact that this is happening during a beta where they were letting people in mass, right? Like they weren't if you watched, you got in, right? That's how it worked. And so there were a lot of people that had the ability to be playing this beta. I'm not going to say more people were maybe playing now than launch weekend for them. Surely there'll be more. But my point is, I don't think the number is going to be like such a significant difference where over the long haul, like, 3-4 months into the game's lifespan, that the queue times aren't just going to get worse.
Yeah.
Worse and worse and worse.
And
and I think eventually they will have to get rid of the role queue because I think it'll become unbearable sooner than later, especially, give it 2-3 weeks once the streamers stop playing, right? The paid streamers at least stop playing. You're going to see a drastic fall off as we saw with viewership over the beta, right? Like once the drops were done, they were out.
Right.
That's what they care about.
I mean, that's I saw some people on Reddit. No, I take it both ways though, right? Like I saw Reddit, like the Overwatch subreddit, patting themselves on the back when they were like, "Oh, we have 9 million viewers," and it was like, okay, dum-dums, you know exactly why you have those viewers.
100%.
Chill out. And then for the people saying, Overwatch dropped 99%. Okay, well, and you know exactly why they dropped. So
It's the same with every game, but the difference is you don't want there to be that huge disparity, right? Like, hey, we lost 50% of our numbers.
You would have hoped
after
maybe
the
you
Twitch drops
retained
and went
some
away.
for the funness. Like they played it and said, Overwatch 2 is actually pretty fun. I'm going to stick around, right? No one stuck around. So
no, that's the issue.
You know, I don't know, man. I will say this: watching Overwatch League,
it's a better version of Overwatch, is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not going to bring in. We said this so many times before it even released. It's not going to bring you in if you didn't like it before.
Right.
If you liked it and you were been waiting for some changes to kind of get you interested again, somebody like you know, like somebody who enjoys the game, although you've had your frustrations, but you enjoy Overwatch
yeah, overall,
as a whole,
I would say I enjoy it.
Like if they fix some of the issues, the balancing is nice, maybe the 5v5 works out, like I could see you being interested in going back and playing, right?
Yeah. From a very casual, you know, because
you will keep it installed.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Because I will say this: watching watching Overwatch League definitely helped me think differently of it. Because playing it was an absolute shit show. Like having one tank, people did not know how to. I mean, hell, I didn't know how to adjust. Right? It's like I'm used to having two tanks and a Zarya bubble with a Rhine shield, and then that's how you play off each other. And now it's like you have one guy and he pits Roadhog as a tank, which they're going to have to remove him as a tank. He's just, or rework him. There's some tanks are just not
built to be a solo tank.
Right, exactly. So, and so that's definitely changed. And so when you were playing pickup games, it was even more of a cluster than before. Like somehow taking away someone makes the game more of a clusterfuck somehow. I don't understand how that was possible, but it is. So I think, but watching Overwatch League, it didn't look as bad. Now, go figure. Pros who get to play it all day figured out how to do it, right? But I'm not a pro and I don't have all day to figure it out. So I think and you know, it's so funny because before I was like, no, there needs to be role queue. This is a mess and blah, blah, blah. I think you ditch the roles and you just make it 5-on-5 and you let people figure out how they want to control the meta, which whether that be 4 tanks and 1 support, no tanks and DPS only, like whatever the meta is, it's fine, but you let it grow organically and not try to force this 1 tank, 3 DPS or you know, 2 DPS, 2 heal, like the 1-2-2. Don't try to force it. Just let it be open, let it grow organically, and then adjust the balance need be from there like you used to. Because
I agree. That's what it should be. They should just take out the role lock. Because, right? So if a team wants to go 1-3-1 or 1-4 or whatever they want to do,
that's like, the strategy they want to roll with. So I think that's the way to go, especially from a casual standpoint. Like when I do play, it's only going to be an open queue because I like playing tank and I'm not going to sit here for 10 minutes between every game. I don't care if you give me a loot box every game. I'm not going to do it. Like it's just it's ridiculous and you can't have a game survive with that type of formula. So, final thought is Overwatch 2 is like Source for Counter-Strike to Overwatch, but Blizzard did a shit job of telling people like that. So, just stop thinking of it as a sequel and just think of it as a juicy update. I think Blizzard does care about it because they have already made balancing updates and changes and have announced some things that they're adjusting that people have already asked for. So that's refreshing to hear. I do think that they're going to start teasing heroes and everything a lot more now. Like people are like, oh, you only added 1? I mean, you know, they're working on other stuff as well. I'm sure they have more in the chamber to start on their normal every hero quarter type of shit. So I thought it was fine. It you know, it is what it is. If you like Overwatch, you might enjoy it. I liked Overwatch and I still didn't really enjoy it, but I'll probably still give it a try when it's officially out. So it's a beta. I was not expecting a real beta. It's a beta. So
yeah, not what we were expecting.
No. So there you have it. Overwatch 2 too soon review. Real quick, Samwise asked in the chat if I think Gundam Evolution has a legit shot at becoming a legit esport. You know, that's what they made it for. Bandai, when they announced the game, they said that they were specifically making it with esports in mind. So with that being said, you know what, they're at least going to try, and it's Gundam, so you know it's at least going to have a scene in Japan. So, you know, maybe.
It's like it's unlikely. However, that it's like they could make it an esport, but would it be a successful one? You know, I would say that's less than a 50-50.
Yeah. Here, anyways. So maybe the popularity will carry it in Japan. But hey, you know what? If I get to fly around as Char, the Red Comet, I'll play the game. Because I'm a simp like that. All right, so there's Overwatch 2 soon review. Let's get into Yikes of the Week real quick here. Do you want to take this first one?
Yeah, so this is going to be a nice little lead-in, Tim, for all of our Counter-Strike stuff, because we both got some CSGO stuff going on here. So the sticker's finally released a few days before the major. I still hate that they wait to do the pick'ems.
No time to spare.
No time. You got a couple of days to get set. Well, one of the CSGO reporters, beat writers, whatever you want to call him. I wouldn't really call him a journalist, honestly, just because he's more of a memester than anything,
right,
but does report on news. Tweeted out a statement regarding Shiro, Cloud9's newest acquisition, also a former Gambit player, also Russian. Tweeted out regarding his sticker. On the signature, Tim, there was a squiggly underneath it.
As you do. As you do. You know, you sign
it's very
games,
common. Yeah. And to mind you, Counter-Strike sends a list of guidelines to teams for acceptable or general ideas of what to do with your signature.
Right.
One of them was the squiggly underneath it, which again, super common for people to do. So this was under Shiro's name, but it could be, if looked at that way, it could be misinterpreted for the letter Z, which is the fascist symbol that the Russians are using regarding the
last
war.
Yikes of the Week, where the Dota 2 player did it on the map.
Feels like a little carryover. So Nell tweeted out that this is disrespectful. Why wasn't this changed? And really was trying to push an agenda that didn't have any merit behind it, because it had already been rebutted by the person that made the sticker for Shiro, saying that we turned these in before the war was even on, or going on, or had started. So this was already submitted to Valve prior to then. Has nothing to do with it. And obviously Valve didn't feel that way either, or they would have adjusted it, because trust me, they're aware of what's going on within, one of their most successful titles at the biggest event. So, it was really shitty, I thought, for him to just go out and accuse Shiro of doing that without taking more the journalistic approach and doing a little bit of research before tweeting it out. Because once you tweet it out, Tim,
it's out there.
It's out there. It doesn't go away. People will start to harass. You're going to have some people coming in that, hey, they follow Nell because he does report on a lot of news, and they're going to take that they're going to take that to heart. They're going to start tweeting at Shiro, at Cloud9, at Gambit, or whoever, And I wish he had taken a little bit more of a journalistic approach and done some research, because immediately after putting that out there, tweets were coming from every which way to kind of defend Shiro in this case. And I do 100% believe that there was no ill intention behind it. Although, like I said, if you tried hard, yes, you could make it seem like there was something going on there.
I mean, I guess it's just the world we live in now. And he came back and tried to say it, like you said, that, oh, no, I didn't mean anything by it. But then the days following, he made his Twitter private for a few days afterwards. And I'm like, well, for someone then who didn't mean anything by it, you sure took the criticism pretty hard. So I think you did mean to at least, kick the can a little bit, right? Start a little bit of a fire. He was trying
to at least get impressions. So even if that was his only motive, he still lit a fire under something that he thought would farm him those impressions. So either way, he knew what he was doing.
I think it's a disgusting tactic, Anuj, to just try to prevent the inevitable, where the number one NA team, a la Cloud9, wins this major. I think it's a a poor attempt at trying to prevent the inevitable.
Are we going to seriously call them NA? I need to make sure we're on the same page with this.
I mean, as
You're gonna,
serious as the sun comes up.
Cloud9, but you're going to like reference them as NA Cloud9.
That's the
Okay.
only way I see them. I don't.
Hey, that's fine. I'm just checking. I'm just trying to make sure I understand the rules we're playing by over here.
These colors don't run. As far
it's still red, white, and blue.
It's all red, white, and blue.
It
baby.
just might be in a different order, but it's still red, white, and blue.
It's all red, white, and blue. So, I just think it's a way to take them down. So, hey, whatever. And the sticker stayed, right? At the end of the day, the sticker stayed. So obviously it wasn't that bad if Valve didn't even do anything about it, even after the fact, right? It wasn't like Valve was like, oh shit, he's kind of got a point on this one, guys. Like, no, they were like, this is ridiculous. The sticker stays. One thing that I think is ridiculous, though, and Valve is part of this drama, was the E6 ban. E6, we all remember them from like a year ago, Anuj, the governing body behind like player whatever you want. I don't even know, sportsmanship.
Match fixing and all that stuff.
Match fixing. So they're the investigating body behind this. And of course, like, how long ago was this coaching bug stuff?
They operate at their own pace. That's all we can tell you. It's so hard to keep a timeline of what they're doing because the information is so spread out, and it's like been 2 years realistically since we've kind of been talking about some of this stuff.
Like
and
Doctor Strange couldn't keep up with their timeline.
There's like a multiverse going on here of freaking bands coming
no
left and right.
sense. So they have been investigating and been this coaching ban and figuring out what coaches use this bug to have an unfair advantage from events, like you said, from a year or two ago. They have been radio silent on this for months. I mean, even leading up to this announcement, their last tweet was from like 3 weeks ago, and it was about some convention speech thing. It had nothing to do with anything. So they have been dead radio silence for a long, long time on this. Then days before the major, 3 days before the major, actually 4 days before the major, they tweet out saying, hey, so we have some names and coaches that are involved with this major that are going to be banned from this. We're not going to release the names just yet, though.
Just to throw out there, it's Valve that ultimately took the stand to ban them.
Right.
ESIC presents the information. Valve makes
but ESIC also decides to present this information. It's like they almost forgot about it, realized the major was like in a couple of days, and they said, oh shit, we forgot to work on that. Guys, hurry up, look at the videos, get the interns in. So now we are 3 days before the major, and Valve announces that 3 coaches, Peacemaker.
It's just funny that his name comes up in anything we talk about.
He's always there.
Related.
He's always there, though. It just doesn't matter. He's always involved. Peacemaker,
coaching Imperial, by the way.
Yeah, coaching Imperial. Holly, Team Spirit, and Zach from 9Z, another Brazilian team.
I gotta say, well, go ahead and finish your. Go ahead and finish.
So this is my soapbox yikes of the week bitching about this. Is they were radio silent for so long. They presented this information last minute. We have teams boots on the ground for this major to happen. Valve had the cutoff date for roster locks set to 5 days before the major. So even after the roster lock, even after Valve says, okay, you submitted your roster, this looks good, we're ready to rock and roll, these are the guys. Then they come back and say, oh, now these guys are banned. Look, you could say they cheated and they can have some type of punishment, whatever. At this point, you hear some of the stories and it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I think it was Zach, the one where it's like, it was like for one round on a map, and he even reported it when it happened.
Zach and Hallie. So like Hallie had it one round on Mirage, was stuck in spawn, got less information than he would have got if he was just normal spectating, because he was stuck in a point where there would be no info to get, reported it immediately after the round, and turned off his video at that point. So I don't think there's anything different. His fault was just being part of the bug.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the bug coming up is the only reason he's getting banned. He did everything he needed to do. And I believe the same with Zach. Peacemaker's a little different situation. Peacemaker cheated. Okay. And it's very important to note that Peacemaker's ban, to me, was the only ban out of these three that should have been upheld. He got the bug. He floated around for a few rounds, completely took advantage of it, clearly was giving, although he said he was not giving information.
I was just looking around, guys.
Yeah, I'm just browsing. Was like clearly giving information to his team. So his ban, no doubt about it, is a legit ban. But for Hallie and for Zach, Hallie would have been a first-time major attendee, a special moment for that individual. Zach has been to many big events, but still, it's been a while since he's been present. It's got to really hurt in a different way, because they truly could not have avoided the ban. Like, there's nothing they could have done differently than maybe like toss their fucking monitor out the window mid-round to show that they wanted nothing to do with this. But yeah, I mean, it's super unfortunate. I think it's just super shitty on like Valve and E6's part to uphold some of these bans after seeing the video evidence. Like, it's not like you're taking a recommendation without seeing evidence, you know, and they clearly saw what all three of these individuals did and still decided to ban two of them, as you said, a day after the roster locks. They couldn't sub in their alternate coach or alternate player to play as or be there as a coach. You know, they just really put them in a tough situation. And look, you know, I mean, Imperial's lucky that they have a veteran-ridden team that can probably handle it without.
I was gonna say, yeah, like they have a roster where you could almost argue a coach would just be more distracting, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, he's there to just help prep for the next game type thing. But like Fallen can take on most of those duties. But for like Team Spirit and for 9Z, like teams that don't have a lot of major experience, that's like a really big blow. 9Z is going to be playing out of the OW2 bracket tomorrow. Spirit's playing in the 1-1, so it really hurts, and definitely a yikes on Valve and E6 part.
It's just poorly handled all across the board. Like right before the major, you're gonna like kind of start this mess, and it was just, I don't know, just seemed really torch and pitchfork moment for me, you know? It's like you're just looking past it, and just Valve being typical Valve in their moment of like, you know, Valve is like that substitute teacher that tried to be really hip and cool with all the students. You're like, man, this guy's really cool. He's just like letting us not work and do things. But then like the next day when the real teacher's in, they're like, yeah, that sub told me everything. That is Valve. Valve on Twitter is like likes to, or Counter-Strike likes to look all goofy, and they say, like, has their profile pics as a goofy CS, and they don't take themselves too serious. But then they're like, you were affected by a bug that we knew about and ignored for years, and you only used it for half a round and even reported that you saw it and didn't do shit with it. Yeah, we're gonna ban you from the major.
Yeah, you're done.
Have fun.
They weren't planning on refunding their tickets and making them pay for their travel costs to go back. Thankfully, I believe they've changed that decision, but either way, let's get into some real major talk and get this going.
Because the major, PGL Antwerp's major did officially start today, this morning. They finished rounds 1 and 2 of the Challenger stage. And, you know, we got our pick'ems. I'm doing pick'ems this time around for the first time since the major before the Boston major. I'm doing pick'ems, so I'm back in it.
Hey, Cloud9 is back, Tim is back. I like it.
That's the way it works. Is I was like, you know what? Even though the last time I didn't do pick'ems, Cloud9 won the major. So maybe.
Yeah, but they didn't win it the last few times. You didn't do it either. So
so yeah, I guess you're right. So I'm back doing pick'ems, and
You and me basically had the exact same pick'ems in
My-
terms of the teams we had
making
going
it.
through, except for Forza, and I had who the hell did I have? I had MIBR. You had Forza.
Yeah. When in doubt, so my logic on that is when in doubt, go EU.
And definitely not a bad one. It was a toss up for me between MIBR, Forza, even Team Spirit. I like
that
considered
last team, like those last team or two, man, that could have gone to like 3 or 4 teams looking at it.
I threw Imperial. We both threw Imperial in there. I did it with the logic that they have experience and it'd be fun to see them advance. So it was more on like following the heart versus the head with that pick. And MIBR, really no logic behind that one. But I think as a whole, like we kind of understood what teams really had the best chance. And I think day one, as I mentioned last week, is such an important day, not only because obviously it's a kickoff of the major, but that first game really sets the tone for where you're headed, I believe, in that opening Swiss round. Because if you start off bad, it can really snowball quickly. Vice versa, if you start off good, you can get on that roll early on, and that's also such a big advantage heading into Legend stage, playing well, not just like scraping by 3-2. You know what I'm saying? Like getting off to a 3-0 hot start means something, I feel. I thought day one, Tim, it was a really eventful day, but also kind of lived up to, like, for the most part, what we thought would and should happen, right? Like a couple surprises, but overall, I thought it was like, hey, no, the good teams won, and obviously the teams that are on the lower half, struggled. Maybe some of them squeaked out a win here and there.
Yeah, let's just get this over with and talk NA, because that's what I want to get to. In Liquid, to me, I want to say I'm surprised, right? Like, I was really, because I had them going through, and they're not out of it. They are playing 9Z tomorrow, but they are 0-2, losing to G2 and Imperial. So say what you want, right? 2 good teams, and that's kind of the fault of the Swedish system. But I am a little shocked to see how they went 0-2. That last game against Imperial, they just looked off. Like, it looked like they weren't really in it.
We can't even say Imperial is a good team, first of all. Imperial also went 1-on-1 on the day with their only win against Liquid, but they did get smacked in their first game against Team Spirit. This is a roster that hasn't really been together since like 2018, 2019. FNX hasn't played in like 3 years, pretty much, like at a high level. So losing to Imperial was like a really, I think, big morale blow for them.
I think Liquid might be 0-3 on this.
Very easily. There's a good chance that 9Z comes out playing with like that raw Brazilian emotion that we've seen, and we've seen Liquid struggle playing against Latin American teams for the most part. Like, they just can't seem to match the intensity.
How
during
2016 was it seeing Fallen beat Team Liquid in a major?
It's just like for them to lose that game. I think, especially within Imperial having Fallen, like, you just let him go because it wasn't working out, and then he turns around and leads a team versus has-beens, and they take you 16-10. Like, that's not a good look. NA couldn't have had a worse day. Complexity started off the major for us. I believe they were the first game of the day. That went 16-1 against Vitality. Granted, nobody had Complexity beating Vitality, but you also didn't expect it to be a 16-1 finish with Zyru not dying one time and taking less than 100 damage for the whole game. I think he took 89 damage for all 17 rounds. Literally did not get touched, and just an embarrassing start. Like, Complexity should be thrilled that they're 1-1 because they did get the Mongolian team IHC in round 2, so I think everybody was just praying that their 0-3 pick stayed intact and was rooting for Complexity in that scenario.
Yeah, we both had the IHC going 0-3.
I think 90% of the world has IHC or Renegade, so that matchup tomorrow is actually one of the biggest matchups for people to watch because 50% are going to be excited that IHC won, the other 50 are going to be happy that Renegades won. So, like, I think half the pick'ems will get busted at least right there. Look, I mean, we had some. I thought the best match of the day was the G2 Spirit game.
Boy.
Because
Tim, boy.
I got to tell the story. Tim and I are texting mid-game. I think G2 is up 14.
And to keep in mind, on our pick'ems, Anuj has Vitality going 3-0. I have G2 going 3-0.
Yeah, and so we were both, had our rooting interest here, and I wanted to see Tim's bracket get busted before mine did on the 3-0 pick, obviously. That. So Tim hits me up when it's like 14-4. I don't know. It was
14-4. G2 was dominating.
And he goes, my 3-0 pick is like a lock. And then about 20 minutes later, and I saw his message, and I also agreed in the sense of what he was saying. Like, it was a blowout at the time. I'm working. I'm kind of glancing over. I'm also noticing this game hasn't ended. Okay, it's like 14-8. Okay, glance back over, 14-10. Next thing I know, I see a text from Tim, and he goes, oh, shit, I just jinxed it. And it was like 14-14 at the time. The Spirit made
it into overtime.
Sends it to OT. G2 still pulled it off miraculously, Tim. I thought there was no way once that went to OT that G2 was going to have the mental fortitude to do it, because that seems like a team that would break in that situation. But they did show some strength and composure and get it back on board. But yeah, I mean, look, both of our 3-0 picks are not playing each other tomorrow. I think that's the one win, is we can both still come out of here happy.
Still have fun.
I got the easier path to 3-0 than you do, looking at the matchups for tomorrow, because G2 plays Ents and Vitality plays Forza, and obviously Forza is a good team. But I do think I have the more desired matchup of the two, and I'm sure betting odds will probably show that also, heading into tomorrow. But we both are alive on our 3-0 picks, which I think is great. Both alive on our 0-3. It's just the middle mumbo jumbo that we have to get sorted out.
Yes, I'm the Ents G2 matchup for me, I'm kind of up in the air. Had G2 not had the blowout or the almost blown lead, I would have felt a lot better about it, right? You just hope that the wake-up call for them, right? So, much like how I think Liquid's probably going to go 0-3 because they're just over it at this point, and that roster is probably going to get somewhat blown up after the major, so they're probably just wanting to get out of there as soon as possible. I think hopefully this will do the exact opposite for G2, and it's kind of like the wake-up moment where, guys, we almost blew it to Team Spirit. That would have, and that would have just been a meme to start. Oh
man, I mean, to blow a lead in that fashion, it would have been it would have brought back some nightmares for Nico, who's been through it, right? Seen some big leads disappear.
Boy, though, how about Nico and that Deagle? He ain't missing him this major.
Man, that double door shot on B double doors where he just had it waiting was, it was something else. I think their matchup is very difficult tomorrow, though. And today looked really good. I mean, Snappy is one of the older players in this event. One of the newer acquisitions, also taking over the in-game leadership role for them. They looked really, really good to me. I think their world ranking is also incredibly high at the moment. I think they're number 3 in the world or something like
for that. Ents?
For Ents, yeah. And
they're high.
Ents is just slowly but surely kind of risen up the ranks over the last couple of months.
Well, it's time for a major, right? It's what Ents does.
My easy for Ents sound is back on in game for me. I'm using that music kit or whatever, but it's just one of those things. Ents is playing really well, and so if I'm G2, you do not blink going into this game, because you have to bring your A game here. And I think getting out of here 3-0 with a couple extra days to rest before the next event round starts, and not pushing yourself till later in the week and expending all that mental fortitude that it's going to take to grind out these BO3s is going to be really like a major leg up because you go in with confidence into that next round and you go in rested. And to carry both of those over, I think it's going to be a huge plus for any of these teams. And so I'm really excited, for what we're seeing right now, because I really did not want to see a major upset take place. Like for me, Liquid not making it through is like not a big deal. It's really not. Do I want to see them make it through? Yeah, but them not making it doesn't affect this major in the slightest.
Listen, we're NA fans. We've come to terms with it long before this. Like if you're EU and you're laughing at us trying to talk shit, you can't say anything to an NA fan that an NA fan hasn't said to themselves over the last year or two.
NACS is not in a place to brag about, so we're not even having an NA-EU discussion. Like
No.
I'm used to every year us having that conversation at some point, whether it's during a major or some drama. We're not having that talk anytime soon.
No,
so
right now it's Cloud9 versus the world.
I, like you, have also adopted Cloud9 into NA fandom. I think we just kind of have to.
It's all we got, really.
It is all we got. I don't expect Liquid to make the Cloud9 Boston run here and come from the OW2 deficit to crawl their way out and do something miraculous. I would love to see it. I don't realistically see it happening. I think that they have. I mean, we'll find out. We'll see how much resolve they have, but I think they're done. I am curious, Tim, for a couple other teams here. We'll kind of just zip through some of this because we also have our DreamHack discussion. But Astralis, to me, looked good, even though they lost to Vitality 16-8 in that second round. I mean, I really hope they don't flub this here and like are able to qualify, because I think they are a little bit more of a dangerous team than maybe people want to believe. I don't think they're winning it, but I think they're a dangerous team. And then VP, I kind of feel the same way about. Like, they're like really close to being elite. They have star power. It's just, it doesn't always mesh 100% right with them. I think, they got manhandled a little bit in that Ents game. But again, I don't want to see I need to see some of these teams make it through, because I want like this in my head, this ideal scenario for a legend stage, and we're not that far away from getting exactly what we want.
No, it's gonna be nice. And also, shout out Bad News Eagles. They did get a win. So first, that was one of many Cinderella stories for this major. So they can at least, at the moment, they're 1-1, so they can walk away no matter what, saying they got to win.
Hey, it got a very winnable match versus Imperial tomorrow. Like that, that's not. They're not out of this equation at all. Could very easily pick up win number 2 tomorrow morning. So I think all the matchups tomorrow are actually fairly balanced in the 1-1 games. Like all the 1-1 games are the ones I'm really focused on. I could see Complexity putting up a little bit of a fight versus VP. I could see MIBR putting up a fight. MIBR was in 2 16-4 games, right? So these guys are living on the edge right now, but they're a tough team to knock out. All of these games actually look like semi-balanced to me. I expect VP to beat Complexity. That's probably the most lopsided one.
That one.
It's probably the most lopsided.
They looked a little shaky on versus IHC for a hot minute.
I think that 16-1 opening match for Complexity was just one of those, like, that was the first game of the major. It's like being the first person to tee off in front of your friends at 8 o'clock in the morning when you haven't golfed in 6 months. Like, you're just going to be nervous being on that stage for the first time, and I think that's what got them. But they looked really settled in that second match, again, against IHC, but still they had to have some composure in a 16-13 win. I think that could carry over a little bit. Expect them to lose, but I don't think it's going to be some sort of blowout.
So there you have it. Samwise asks, esports, gun to your head, who is in the finals?
You know what? We don't usually say this on the show. I think I'm going to hold off until we got Legend stage set. I think I want to see where we're at going into Legend stage. If it happens before our next show, Tim and I will put it out on Twitter for our picks. So we will lock our picks in. We'll show you, what we've done on the pick'ems and all
be
that.
legit. So,
but
and,
I don't think I can. I don't think I can make a call without seeing like. Because I personally also believe Vitality could be a dangerous team going into Legend. I just want to see how this plays out and how some of these teams look in a BO3 and get a feel for how they're playing going into it. Because I don't think it's a guarantee that one of the Legends teams is your 100% winner of this event.
Right. And like, I agree. We normally don't give our picks this early, so I won't. However, I'll say this. I have read so many articles. I have looked at all the numbers. I have crunched the data, Anuj. I don't see any way. You say gun to my head. I'll put the gun in my goddamn mouth, pull the trigger, and spit out the bullet, because there's no way North American Cloud9 does not lift the trophy at the end of this. Not a chance. There's no way they don't win it.
Okay, in case Samwise is a betting man, I'm also going to chime in here. Put
everything on Cloud9.
If you need a second team, Samwise, to be smart with your money, I would throw your money on FaZe, because they do look like the most elite team right now, and they're probably 90% of people's favorites heading into the final, or week 2 of the major. FaZe is, I think FaZe is the team to beat, right? Like, in all honesty, FaZe probably looks like the team to beat.
Yeah, we said that early, kind of like for our
like
preview.
Navi, Gambit sitting right there behind. Oh, Navi, Cloud9 sitting right there behind them. But I think FaZe is probably the team to beat. They're loaded. They're a loaded.
Funny
loaded
enough,
team.
the
I
last
don't think
time
we've seen a team with like that much firepower outside of like the other FaZe roster that had older versions of superstars, right? Like they had a lot of firepower in terms of names, but this team probably has like the most talent we've seen on a team to date. I don't even think that's that far of a stretch to say that, honestly.
Anuj, it's funny you say that, because the last time people said that about FaZe at a major, you know what happened? North American Cloud9 came up and won. So,
and that was a deadly team. Like, that was, Guardian, Nico, like, that was a really deadly team.
Back then, there was,
These are, like, to me, players in their genuine prime. Twist, Brokey's still growing, but almost in his prime. Rops, obviously, in his prime. Like, these are top 10 type talent all playing together. So that's very unusual with a legendary in-game leader that doesn't feel like he's really lost a step in the past 5-6 years. So FaZe is the team to beat. But to give you a proper finals pick or matchup, I'll hold off till next week.
I mean, if there's any question on who I support, you can just look right behind me on the webcam.
Baby Yoda?
This beautiful pillow right here. Just sitting right behind me. As you can see, it is a Cloud9 pillow. So, but I'm not being a homer. So there you have it. All right. So there's some major talk. Day 1, a loaded day 1. Cannot wait for day 2, because there is nothing like a CS major. There really isn't anything like a CS major. I don't care what League of Legends fans say. I don't care Valorant, the champs and the masters. No. The CSGO Major should be the pinnacle of your esports year. So it's awesome. There's always drama involved in and outside the game. It's good stuff. It's only day 1, and we still have
by the time we air next week, we will be on Legend Stage Swiss Round 4. So we'll be we'll be fully going into Legend Stage by the time we get to discuss this next. So we'll make our picks before Saturday and throw those out there. But we'll have a fun discussion next week, because we'll be we'll have a good idea of where we stand and how people look, and how close some teams are. We'll have some 2-0 matchups going on at that time. And
maybe if I can look to see when Cloud9 plays, we'll do a watching party on stream. That's one of the advantages of being us is we can get away with stuff like that. And actually, I think you can do a watching party anyways because you watch the in-game client.
Yeah, you can do a watch party. You got to be on a 2-minute delay or something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because God forbid people watch our stream and just wouldn't be the first time we accidentally illegally stream something. But,
no.
There you have it. All right, so there's day one of the CS Antwerp Major. Good stuff. Anuj, let's do our public service of the year, though, because we have DreamHack Dallas right around the corner in a few weeks here. The first weekend of June 3rd through the 5th is DreamHack Dallas 2022. It is the first DreamHack Dallas event since 2019, 18? When was COVID started?
Bro, I couldn't even tell you when the last DreamHack was because I
did not go
in like in a year on top of that, basically. So
you had a family wedding to attend to, so like an idiot, you decided to go and not go to DreamHack.
Bro, if I thought that would be the last DreamHack we were having in 3 years, then maybe I would have changed my plans. But I thought we'd be back the following year.
I'll come back when you renew your vows.
Yeah, this is our first. Like, look, this part of the segment or this part of the show is like partially for you guys, and then like partially a reminder for us on what we're supposed to do. And
so
bring.
Long. So. Yeah. DreamHack Dallas in a couple of weeks. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, I don't believe it's 100% sold out on the land part.
It's not. You can buy tickets for all of it still.
So you can get tickets for everything, whether you just want to come hang out at the expo. If you are, obviously let us know. We'll leave the LAN area. Come say hey. We always see people there. It's awesome. If you are landing, let us know. We can give you where we're sitting. And if there's spots in the area, feel free. You pop a squat right next to us if you want. We can game all weekend long. That being said, let's kind of start from like the weekend and then kind of progress through the survival guide that way. You want to do it that way? Easiest way, I think.
What there is to do there?
Well, yeah, I was going to start with like packing, but if you want to start with what to do at the event first, we can do it that way.
People should know to pack.
Well,
like what to bring, you're talking about?
What to bring. If you're doing the LAN, I would suggest, first off, well, I guess no, let's do it your route. Yours is better now that I think about it out loud. Let's talk about the event first, what to do, all that, and then we'll talk about if you're doing the LAN, what to bring.
We'll give you like a couple of nitty-gritty details. We won't overload y'all with that because some of it's common sense. But
yeah,
I think.
But if it's your first LAN, if it's your first LAN, I could definitely see where you don't know certain things and might not think of certain things. So, but as far as
I think what's cool
goes,
about this particular event is it's a little different than previous DreamHacks. I think first of all, let's just talk about the event itself. This is a premier flagship event in Dallas this year because we are getting the Counter-Strike IEM ESL event. Mm-hmm. For those of you that don't know what that means, it is part of the Intel Masters like Extreme Series. It has a $1 million jackpot if teams win X number of games. It also counts heavily towards ratings and points. So it is a premier event for all intents and purposes.
Big teams. A lot of the teams that you will be watching in the major these next 2 weeks are going to be there.
90% of the teams we see starting in legend stage, okay, where all the big boys are, 90% of the teams that from qualification onwards, like now till the end, we will see all of those teams in Dallas. I think VP is not going to be there because of visa issues, but really anybody else in the top 12 to 15 will be at this event. Still a couple of qualifiers maybe. I think they might have just wrapped up, but we've got a very, very stacked lineup with a lot of good teams. So the Counter-Strike event is really like big time, and I'm so excited for that because we have not had a big time Counter-Strike event at a DreamHack in quite some time.
Maybe
in Dallas.
Since DreamHack.
I think
Dallas
personally, like
might have been the last
Counter-Strike hasn't had a big event in NA in a really long time, outside of like the ESL New York's, obviously the Boston Major a handful of years ago. There haven't been a ton of big ones because most of the teams over the last 2 years are only really competing in Europe. It makes sense. And so for a big event to be coming into NA, post COVID, I say that as I have COVID, but post COVID, that's a big deal. And so if you're coming to see some good esports, you're really coming to the right event, because this does not happen that often. Like, I think it's very rare that you're going to get to see like 12 of the top 15 teams in Counter-Strike in the world competing in one place, like unless you're at a major.
Look this up. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they've changed it now to where if you have tickets to the BYOC and things like that, you have tickets to go watch Counter-Strike. At first they were separate tickets, but I think they adjusted that.
They did. So it is all together. If you have the BYOC tickets, you have access to the CSGO event.
Okay. So no excuse to go there. And I will say this too. The awesome thing about DreamHack is it's not just like, oh, okay, so there's a big Counter-Strike event and okay, I guess that's the big esports thing. They have so much more. So they'll have the IEM Dallas, which is obviously going to be the big one. That will be at the convention center. You have like where the expo and the BYOC is at. And then they have like a little arena concert looking thing. And that's where that will be set at. All inside, all walking. It's fine. But just so you're aware, it's going to be in its own arena, just attached to everything. You're going to have, I believe you'll always have like
Rocket League.
Yep.
So you'll have the Rocket League World Championship. So you're also going to get to see the best teams in Rocket League involved, and that's going to be popular. And then I think this is kind of cool. We also get the ESL Impact Series, which is the women's Counter-Strike event, and they're obviously pushing that and promoting that. And so you will get to see at least like the top tier female CS competitors go up in $150,000 like global like dollar event, which is huge, especially in the female scene. So that is cool to see them promoting that. And then I think the main like staple for what DreamHack is kind of known for is like the FGC scene kind of community feel. They will obviously have a lot of fighting games going on there that not only you can watch, but you can also participate in a lot of those because a lot of those are like open fields or open playthroughs to qualify and play in. So
that's one of the cool things is, and now unfortunately, like Capcom Tour won't be there because they're still 100% online. Normally, like DreamHack was a staple for the Capcom Tour for professional Street Fighters and things like that, part of their tour, but they're still 100% online. So a little unfortunate.
This will be Kings of Fighters, Smash Bros. Melee, Guilty Gear Strive, and Super Smash Ultimate.
Yeah. So you're not going to have like Street Fighter or things like that there, but you're still going to have FGC. You're still going to have the top pros from those respective FGC games there. And again, even if you're like, you know what, though, I don't really care about FGC all that much, watch it. Do yourself a favor. Don't go to DreamHack and put yourself in a box and being like, oh, I'm only here for the esports, so I'm not going to go look at the expo. Or, I really kind of only care about being here for the LAN party, so I'm not going to go watch esports in person. I'll just watch it on my computer in the LAN area. Do yourself a favor and experience it all because it's really all worth it, and it will introduce you to new things, right? Maybe you're a Counter-Strike guy, but I promise you, go watch an FGC, a fighting game, when you have a top pro playing or it gets to like the top 16, the top 8. It's electric. Watching the fans and the passion on there, you will get hooked. I mean, that's how a lot of people get hooked, right? You see the in-person reaction and you're like, oh, okay, I get what this is about now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I remember one DreamHack we were watching. It was the first one we went to, and that's when StarCraft was still there as part of like the Pro League tour for StarCraft, and we were watching the championship for StarCraft, and we were like, what the hell is going on? But we knew people were loving it, and we got involved with it, and there was
a StarCraft pro sitting right next to us that we were like watching him play on his laptop in between matches. And so stuff like that's also kind of cool to see in the BYOC area because a lot of the competitors that are maybe not like, you're not going to see the Counter-Strike pros sitting in the BYOC, but you will see a lot of the FGC and indie
like,
game.
So for 1 year, they were sitting like right behind us and this was before, it was funny because this was before they were like a big org, but for Rainbow Six, Space Station Gaming were sitting right behind us doing the open tournament, because again, this was before they were like an instant invite qualifying type of team. And I remember thinking, like, look at these tryhards sitting here with their jerseys and behind Space Station Gaming. Who the
with
fuck are you?
their coach was pacing behind them.
Right, and their coach is getting all
BYOC.
involved, and they're getting hyped. I'm like, guys, it's a BYOC tournament. Chill out. And then come Sunday, they qualify to get into like the pro level, and I'm like, oh, that's the team that was sitting behind us.
It's like, that was so awesome to see them.
And now they're like official pro level, and I can be like, yeah, I was supporting them back in the day.
We're day oneers.
Yeah, we were cheering them on. So you'll never know what you're going to bump into.
A couple other cool things that I just want to highlight, because I know this could end up being like a 1 hour segment if we wanted it to be, is there's obviously the expo. The expo is always really cool. It's a way for you to like see what different creators are out there making, whether it's cool exclusive keyboards, different peripherals for your PC, posters, anime stuff.
Yeah,
you name it.
They have art. They have an indie game section. They have a tabletop section. So if you're into tabletop games, they'll have that to where you can go try out. A lot of people. My cousin-in-law is actually normally there because he makes tabletop games, and it's like homemade tabletop games, typically like connected to their Kickstarter, and so you can go try that out.
If you're looking to dress up funny, you could go to the cosplay area and
certainly go to the cosplay. So there's a little bit of everything. If you just want to watch a group of people who are soulless and have sold their soul to the advertisement, you can go look at the creator section and look at those miserable folks. But there really is something there for everyone. You can also, if you are there for the BYOC event, you can sign up for esports tournaments. So go on their website right now if you're interested, but you can sign up for tournaments if you're into it. We have done it every year that we've gone. We're not doing it this year, partially because after the last time, I think I told you, I was like, I think I'm done doing these.
We don't have a full squad to play one particular game.
Because our full squad has turned into a bunch of losers and don't want to go.
And we have enough to like participate, but not everybody is good at the games we would want to play. So like
it's
that's going to be
also like we've had such a mixed bag on. And look, this is not me discouraging. This is me giving you a heads up, right? Because they have tournaments in a lot of different games. But it is like we've gotten mixed results on them. Like sometimes
we've actually never had a good. I'm going to be honest and say I've never had a good time playing in the BYOC LAN tournaments.
Well,
I've always been excited leading up to play in the BYOC LAN tournaments, but the events have never gone off without major time crunches, which kind of f's up your ability to enjoy the rest of the day because you're kind of always waiting to play, and the times never line up with when you're supposed to.
There was one year where we played 4 matches, dominated all of them. We were like in the top 8 for the tournament for that day, and we were feeling it. I'm talking like we felt like we were gonna be pro. Like we were waiting for our invite by the end of it, and then all of a sudden they tap us on our shoulder and they go, "Hey, are you guys the center ring?" And we're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Yeah, you're playing in the wrong tournament."
We canceled that tournament earlier today and started a new one. So it was like, this is unfortunately a continuous trend, but they do have BYOC tournaments. Yeah. Maybe they're better after a couple of years of practice.
I will say, if you have a team and like competing is your thing and wanting to go pro is your thing, it's what you have to do. And if you are into that, I'm assuming you already know like these type of LAN events are often a shit show and you just have to be on top of it. But if you're casual looking to go have fun and you just want to dick around with your buddies and say, "Hey, why don't we sign up for the Valorant tournament? Let's do it. Why not?" Just know like it is going to suck up most of your day.
Yeah, just go 5-stack and go play with friends.
Right.
That would be my advice. Find other groups there that are maybe playing the same game and set up your own private lobby. Because
even then,
play
like
with them.
while the tournament's going on, you can't even like just go play a game because at any moment they could be like, "Hey, center ring, get into the lobby," and then you gotta like back out and get into that. So you're kind of just sitting around and warm up maps for a couple of hours. It's not ideal. It's not ideal in my opinion.
It's always a shit show. So I don't think it'll be any different, to be honest with you.
No.
But maybe we're not going to mess with it this year. But that is a big part of it and a reason for a lot of people going. So if you're interested in that, get into their Discord is my best advice, and
leave it
follow
open
closely for what's going on.
Leave it open. So there's that. Now, just to recap.
Now I think we talked BYOC.
Right. So recap, go to all the esports events, even if it's just for a little bit, experience them. They're awesome. Go to the expo, go to each section, talk to the indie artists, talk to the indie games, play a tabletop. Why not? Pick it up. It's fun. Keep in mind in the expo, the food is convention food. It sucks. It's overpriced. There's that. Now
it's a necessity, though.
It is. It is.
It's
typically
easy, and it's right there. And they have refill stations depending on some of the drinks that you get.
Typically, there is Monster there, and they give free energy drinks all day, every day. You will feel like your heart will want to die, so take it easy on that.
And you know what? I'm going to throw this out there before we get into the packing lists of stuff or whatever, but they say no food or drinks are allowed. You can sneak whatever you want in there. Okay?
So let's use that into the segue then for BYOC.
Yeah.
And this is just from an event in general. The security at DreamHack, albeit better than what it used to be, I would say is subpar at best, especially if you're doing the BYOC, because BYOC is 24/7, right?
Yeah.
You can come and go. Doesn't matter 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. You can come and go anytime you want. There was the last time we went, and I took a picture and I tweeted it at them, and I honestly deleted it because I felt bad. Like I didn't want to get anyone in trouble. This was at 2 o'clock in the morning. I shit you not, Anuj, the security guard who was supposed to be at the front door was straight up not there. No one was watching the front doors. You could have walked out with a wheelbarrow of computers and no one was there to stop you.
Yeah.
So they'll give you a sticker and you'll put that sticker and it has a little magnet on your computer and they'll say, hey, this is all you need to be safe and no one will take your shit. I promise you, you just got to be smart about it. We've never had stuff stolen, but we have heard and seen people get stuff stolen. So especially if it's a laptop or a backpack, I would just keep a bag with you, throw that shit in with, and then when you go walk, take the bag with you. If you're that worried about your stuff, just put it in a bag and take it with you, because the security is not the greatest. It's there, but if someone wants to steal something, I have to imagine they can steal it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That being said, if you're doing BYOC, some pro tips here. Get to know your buddies around you, right? Even if you're going solo, never hurts to befriend and get familiar with the faces around you. So that way, when you're not at your PC and, if I'm there and all of a sudden an Indian Anuj walks up to my PC, they're like, yo, you're not Tim. I've been seeing this guy all weekend and you're not him, right? And vice versa. You can watch their shit. They can watch yours. So that's what I would suggest. Buy a K-lock, which is, if you Google it, it's just like a normal bicycle lock type of looking thing. But any computer case worth a damn and any laptop has a spot on it for this particular lock. And it's a combination lock and things like that. You get that, you loop it through all your equipment pretty much. You might have to get one or two. And if you have a buddy, loop it through their equipment. And then that way, it's just, I don't think anyone could steal it at that point. It would just be a bigger pain in the ass. You would have to literally walk around.
Just a safety measure.
Right. So buy
I would
a
also
K-lock.
recommend bringing a network cable, because you will get charged a lot for one.
Oh,
over there
yes.
if you
Yeah.
don't have one,
Bring everything and then some. Power cables, network cables, a long one. I would say minimum
25 feet.
Yeah, minimum 20, 25 feet, because you don't know where the switch is at over there. So you don't want to buy theirs because it is $30 for a cable. It's not the cheapest for what it is. What else? Like Anuj said, you can bring a water bottle. They'll look at it. I mean, we've snuck in so much
Like,
stuff.
I mean,
though.
you could bring food in. You just take it in your backpack. I've been able to sneak in everything from liquor to weed to food.
Like I said, like they'll what it is just wait till the night security, and they won't care.
Yeah, I mean they don't care about food.
No.
They just don't. They
Last
say
time-
they do.
I will say, the
they
one you
might
didn't
in
go-
the first couple of hours
I was
of
gonna
when
say
it like opens up.
The one you didn't go to, the daytime security was definitely on it. Like they would look through your bag and feel everything. Nighttime, you could have brought in a Gatling gun and they wouldn't have noticed. So
no, it's not hard to bring anything in there. So, I think overall, just make sure you have all of your if you're in the BYOC, don't forget anything. Like really triple check that you have, whether it's mouse, keyboard, headphones, network cable, power cable,
wireless adapters. Do not forget wireless adapters.
Your charge, like to be able to charge all of your equipment. If all your shit's wireless now, right? Like your headphones are wireless, your mouse is wireless. Make sure you have the ability to charge them. Like double and triple check all of that stuff, because it is like painful if you forget something, like you're scrounging or you're having to Uber somewhere to go pick something up. And then if you have a really badass computer, they do have a really other people will have really cool shit there, but they do have like a PC champion for the weekend. And so if you got a really nice rig and you're contemplating whether you want to bring it or not, and when I say really nice, like it is like custom,
water
and it is
cooled,
cool. Like
you got
don't
shit
feel
in
shy to bring that, because a lot of other people have really nice stuff, and like bring it and show it off at these events. And so
on that note, if you do bring a badass PC or even a normal PC and something goes wrong with it, you're literally in the best spot for it. We had a dude one time where he traveled from New Jersey, brought his laptop or his PC, and the water cooler, I'm assuming something happened in transit and the water cooler wasn't working. I literally think he went on like the DreamHack Discord, asked, hey, does anyone know what's going on? Can someone come look at my PC? You would have thought it was like he
working in an Indian help desk center, because everybody was like,
he was the belle of the ball, like just come. Everyone rushed over to him, and if someone was like, I have an extra water cooler, or I can help you out here, and here's some parts, or it's like,
how do you have an extra water cooler with you?
Yeah, it's just some people, you know how it goes. I will say, when you're setting up your PC, don't be afraid to stretch your arms a little bit. Everyone gets 3 feet or whatever it is. Take your 3 feet. Don't let people bully you out of it. Don't touch other people's stuff.
Yeah.
I have that happen one time.
Don't touch it. You can take pictures of whatever you want.
Yeah.
But don't touch other people's stuff.
No,
I think that's
you will get murdered pretty quick. But it's frowned upon. It's frowned upon. And I would say, especially on day one, especially if you are traveling. Okay, like we now live in Dallas, so it's very easy for us to do, but it's still pretty stressful, because when you get there and you're doing BYOC, I would suggest you either get there way early. Like I'm talking an hour or two early so you can get a good spot in line, or just kind of show up like right on time or a little late from when the doors open up, because last time and every other time, the lines are so long to get in. You are holding your computer, and unless you have something to put it on, like a wheelbarrow or whatever those basket thingies, you're going to be holding your PC for a long time, and your monitor. So your arms will get tired. Trust me. So you either show up super late or super early or fashionably late, so you're not standing in a line for too long.
And with that being said, I would bring something to carry your stuff. Like,
yeah.
If you're bringing a tower, don't try to walk around with your tower. It's not going to be a fun.
No, I had
hour or so.
I had a little dolly wheelbarrow thingy. It worked out wonderful last time. That first day, if you're traveling to Dallas, or even if you're like us and you're getting there, just be prepared. It is going to be a long morning. You're setting your shit up. You're excited to play. You're excited to be with your boys and get things going. It's going to be long. Just breathe, relax. You're
Hydrate.
Hydrate.
Do
You are
normal
there
routine,
all
don't-
weekend. You're there all weekend. There's no. You just keep your cool. And I'm mainly talking to myself on this one because Anuj has seen me many of times when we get to those events, and I am ready to rip someone's head off. There was one time in Austin, a dude did touch my stuff. So the seating chart is always a mess, right? Like on where you're actually sitting. And they had the signs doubled up and things like that. So we put our computers down. We go to help our buddy get his computer. And as we're walking in, Anuj, I don't know if you remember this. There was a dude moving my PC.
Yeah, scooting it over.
Like scooting it over. And I almost murdered him. I literally almost killed the guy. And I felt so bad afterwards because he's like, hey man, I'm sorry. I think this is where I sit. And you know me, I don't know. I don't have chill. So at least especially back then. And so we had to get someone over there so they could explain the seating chart. He was in the wrong spot. It was but regardless, if you think someone's in your spot, I would always get someone to look at it. Don't touch their shit. This is all very expensive equipment, and I don't want you touching it, let alone breaking it. So I don't know what you're doing when you're touching my shit. They don't know what you're doing when you touch theirs. Don't touch it. So that's all I got to say is be cool. It's a long weekend. Get your rest in. I would say game at night-ish. I mean, unless you're with your boys, obviously game when you want to game, but don't feel like you have to game all day to get your money's worth, right? Go see the Expo because the Expo does have a close date.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
a time. So
time.
I think it's and it's relatively early. It's like 6 or 7 is when the Expo shuts down. So go do all that during the day and then game at night if you have to. You'll still get a solid night of gaming.
No need to burn yourself out early. You have plenty of time.
Right. The internet's pretty good there. So I would always advise to pre-install any game you are going to play, but don't feel like you have to because the internet's normally pretty fast.
Yeah, like worst case scenario, if you have to download something, as long as it's not like Call of Duty Warzone or something like that, you're
good.
Probably fine. If you have an 80 game, yeah, it might take a little bit, like an hour or so, but
it's
download
it's all
manageable.
Go watch some Counter-Strike, come back, you'll be good. But pre-download, pre-install any games you want to play, obviously. Make sure everything's good.
I'm still contemplating whether I want to take my laptop or just take my desktop.
I'm taking the laptop.
I want to know if I should what kind of gaming experience do I want? Because I know on my desktop,
it's going to be the best.
It's just going to work the way I want it to work. It's going to feel the way I want it to feel. And I'm going to wait till we're like a couple days out to see what we're playing. Because if we're like going to be playing a lot of Counter-Strike, probably going to just take my desktop. If we're going to be playing like Destiny, then I'll probably take my laptop. It just depends on what we're playing.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have the laptop. I'm bringing the laptop. I bought this thing like 3 years ago for the sole purpose of DreamHack, and then DreamHack went away, and I'm like, damn it, I'm doing this stupid laptop setup. Like, because
I haven't gamed on it. Sorry, I haven't gamed on it in like so long. I don't even know what the gaming experience. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine.
I still game on it, right?
I feel like I just have to like open up like Counter-Strike and how does it feel? Like that feels crappy, and that's gonna suck all weekend for me when we're playing that game. Like I don't want it.
Right.
I just don't want anything to like not feel good.
Right. Yeah, I know. I don't blame you. I won't judge either way you do it. So it's all there for the fun. But that would be the survival guide. As far as like if you're from out of town and you don't know what to do in the area, don't get your hopes up. It's like the Overwatch 2 version of a city. There's really nothing there.
I mean, well, nothing right next to the venue, but in downtown Dallas, there's a ton for you to do. So, Tim is old and boring, so that's a little different. But if you're like young and youthful and you're looking to have a good time, then yes, you can 100% do that in Dallas. Tim,
okay.
You don't like to party, so it's not like you're going to be like, what are you looking for in activities?
Sir, we don't need to get into the stories in Austin.
Those were like the first times, though.
I was
for
the king of 6th Street.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was your first time, so you guys
because
shit
6th Street
faced and
is
you
fun,
don't
but
remember the night.
there's no For me, I would rate Dallas as a boring city. You have your bars, you can get an Uber and go to Deep Ellum, and they have nice bars and places you can go and have fun. But as far as like things to do, like when I think of other cities that we've been to, I mean, you can see where JFK got shot, I guess. But
Dallas has a little bit of everything, but not like a lot of one particular thing. But like if we have plenty, so I think people will be fine.
Yeah, it's just not
You're
going to
not
blow
going to
your
see
mind.
where George Washington's house is, but most people don't give a shit that are
It's
coming
not
to
a
gaming
walking city,
convention.
though. It's not a walking city. So if you're coming from outside of town, you think, oh, I'm just used to being in New York or Philly or wherever, and I'll just walk to the convention center and then walk here and there. It's not really how it works in Dallas.
No, you'll have to Uber around a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to have to Uber. So have that app or one of those drive shares app installed for sure. But other than that, I mean, that's really it. That's what you need to know for DreamHack in a nutshell. If you're going, we'll be there. Hit us up. We will be gaming. We will be watching esports. We'll be chilling in the expo for a little bit. But I'm super excited. I know, but every year they used to do like a big concert. I don't think they're doing it this year.
They didn't have anything like listed on the website. You know what? I'm actually kind of okay with that.
Last time it was Trivium, which was pretty awesome because obviously I like it. But even then, I think I went and I watched 2 songs and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm here to game.
It always feels a little out of place. It doesn't matter who it is, right? Like, it could be a really big headliner. It always feels a little out of place because it doesn't feel like that's what the people are there for. So, like, the audience always feels a little awkward.
Right.
And, like, there's, like, 6 people dancing in the very front, but then everybody else just kind of standing around watching. Maybe it's a a good thing to leave it gaming focused.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I don't see, and nothing on their website is talking about.
I don't need DJ Khalid coming out saying we the best. Like,
nothing will beat the first year at DreamHack Austin, where for whatever reason they thought it was going to be a good idea to put the sound stage where all these like DJs were playing right in the middle of the BYOC area, and they went on until like 2 a.m. It was.
And you couldn't hear shit. You couldn't hear anything.
People in between sets, people were yelling at them to shut up.
I'm like almost surprised we went back to DreamHack after that. The only reason we did is obviously we had fun doing the other stuff in Austin, but the gaming experience that first time was actually quite terrible.
They had a lot to learn.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. It's awesome now. If you're going, you're gonna have fun. If you're not going and you're thinking about going, go. It is fun.
It is.
That's all I have to say.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yep. So there is your DreamHack Dallas, survival guide. All right, let's knock out some e-news and then we'll wrap this up. In CSGO, Jason Lake says that there is still 0 interest for JKS. Do you believe that?
Mind blowing. I believe him, and obviously he would like want to sell him if he could. Maybe teams know what they're asking and that's why there's been no interest, but after his like appearance on FaZe, for him to like not have any offers is crazy. Crazy, right?
Yeah, I think there's got to be more to it, like you said.
And
There's
maybe
got to
like the
be
location
more.
that he only wants to play in, or there's got to be something from not allowing this to happen.
Yeah, it can't just be that like, hey, no one's calling me, man. I don't know what to do. So, I've said this to you before, but I think when you look at what Jason Lake has to work with, his resources for complexity, partnered with the Dallas Cowboys. They're in the Star in Frisco, where the Cowboys headquarters is. State-of-the-art practice facility. I think Dexerto just did like a whole special on it. With all that, complexity has to be one of like the biggest busts in esports org history at the moment. And that's not to say like to knock them or anything like that, but like look at what they have and then look at what they're offering. You're muted.
Successful organization, lackluster esports results for sure.
Right.
Like from what they've done from a business standpoint,
no one can argue.
They are the Dallas Cowboys of esports, is what they are, right? Like, they are huge in branding. They've grown. They continue to grow. They're innovative, but yet they don't have results. I mean, there's nothing else to say. They don't win. And that's a big problem. And so hopefully they can eventually turn that corner. They invest the money. They don't win.
Agreed. In Valorant, the season is over for V1, and the Knights lasted all of 5 months, Anuj, as they now have a 7-month break to think about what they've accomplished.
It's always exciting. And it's going to be even more interesting with the announcements of what they're doing next year, because I feel like there's going to be less teams involved when you go to like a league setup. They're not going to have 20 teams competing in the league. So,
right.
I don't know. Interested to see what the plan is here for Valorant esports. Like, it's cool what they're doing now, but it's not sustainable for a lot of these teams. So, like 7 months, what are you gonna pay salaries for 7 months? Hell no, I'm gonna cut every player, and guess what? You're going to be available 7 months from now, because all the ones that are playing are like, they're on a team and they're playing. They're not going anywhere, right? They might make a one-off change here and there, but anybody you release today is going to be here 6.5 to 7 months from now.
Yeah. And, I mean, looking at it, though, that being said, the stage is set for the North American Stage 2 Challengers, and I'd say all the teams that you kind of expect to be there were there. Obviously, like we said, Knights and V1 won't be there, and some other noted teams. But for the most part, this is what we've kind of come to see for NA, right?
Yeah.
Optic, Cloud9, FaZe, 100 Thieves, Sentinels, the bunch, right? They're
TSM in it?
Yep, TSM did make it. Yeah, so, kind of same old in that regards. Thoughts and prayers toward L, as he got his crypto NFT wallet stolen, valued at around $300,000. So looks like he might not be done with that Valorant Pro career as he was thinking he was. As he will need some type of job to replenish that.
That's rough.
Sad day if you were happy to see Kenny S join Valorant, as Riot rejects Kenny S's transfers to Valorant. I didn't read the article. Did it state anything on why?
Yeah, because of conflict of interest, being part of the G2 org and then playing for another.
Oh, well.
Like,
okay.
if you play G2 in an event, would you?
How is he a part of G2's org? Is he?
I think he's a content creator.
Oh, okay, like on contract as a content.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess I could see that. And Sentinels finally have a coach, as they welcomed back Raucus as their coach. So,
it almost seems like they reacted to the community saying, "Hey, y'all really need a coach," and it was like, okay, let's just get somebody to get someone.
Raucus, you're not doing anything, right?
Prior to coaching, he left the coaching role because he said he wanted to go back to competing.
Right.
Can't find a team, so now he's the coach again. Like, it just seems like, okay, hey guys, we need a coach to tell everybody we have a coach, but
now
you guys still.
Friend of the show, good dude. I've actually, and I'm not bullshitting, have shared a dinner table with him and had wine and shared stories, esports stories, over a nice fine steak.
It was in New York, right?
In New York, yeah. Not lying. Now, the lie there is that he did say he remembers my Rainbow Six Pro team because he also played Rainbow Six. That might have been a lie, but I didn't care enough to ask if it was. So I just wanted to live life knowing that he did know of my Rainbow Six team. So I hope the best for him. But no, I absolutely agree with you. This just seemed like he couldn't find work. They needed a coach, and they just said, you know what?
Let's join this until you find what you want to do.
Let's see how this goes. Kind of in the same boat, Clayster trialed with NYSL again, didn't make the team. He was kind of bitter about it on Twitter. If you look at the drama, saying how he thought he played really well. They won the matches that he scrimmed with, but later he kind of realized he was never going to get on the team.
It kind of messed up to do that to Clayster, right? Of all people, if you're, first of all, weird that you ask him to trial. Either you want him or you don't.
Clayster, you know what you're getting. I'll tell you this: I love professional Call of Duty. It's an awesome scene to be involved with and keep up with and watch. But they don't respect their veterans. like other
No.
scenes do at
They
all.
trash him.
Like as soon as you are like have served your purpose, they are done with you.
No, and it's like part of that I think is just the younger generation within COD think a little too highly of themselves already, you know? And yeah, I mean, unfortunately they don't respect the stones that were set in place by some of these more experienced players. And I don't think Clay gets enough credit for the amount of young talent that he's also helped develop for these teams. So even if he's maybe not the best player in his position, you generally can think like, oh, he's making the rest of our team better. And that's also like, I think, overlooked and overshadowed by younger talent.
100%. But that being said, NYSL must have made the right move as they ended up winning the Pro-Am this weekend. So
I know all of that like gets shot to hell when the next line comes up. But
this
still
was
weird that they trialed him.
This is like Methods and Toronto all over again. Like, how can they bench Methods? Oh, Toronto, you'll never win a game again. And then they win the next event, and you're like, well, all right. I guess you guys know what you're doing. Okay, thanks. Bye. Same exact thing with Clay. In other FPS news, developer notes not being taken too well. Pros and casuals players. Is that regarding Halo? Is this all Halo?
It is. This is all Halo.
Okay, so this is all in regards to Halo. So Season 2, I'll just sum everything up here without even looking at it. Season 2 dropped, Anuj, for Halo. Oh, you would think, whoa, Season 2, all the hype is back. Halo Infinite's back. It's alive. Wrong. Because for whatever reason, 343 is the worst, most dumb, blind studio in all of gaming. How can you have this golden goose egg on a silver platter and then you make green eggs and ham with it? I will never fucking know. But 343, you dumb studio, I hate you. You ruined the game that I loved, and I hate you.
They really are shitty, though. Okay, right? Like we said, we're not going to burn bridges on the way out. Really, 343, y'all are fucking terrible. Y'all are some of the worst developers I've ever seen. So out of touch with your community. I mean, when I say so out of touch with your community, they're willing to publicly blast you and not care what they say at this point because you've destroyed the franchise. Like, absolutely destroyed it. Halo is a dead game in 2022. It is. It's not coming back, Tim. It might come back on the next iteration when Microsoft eventually decides to move it off of 343, which who knows if they will or won't. But there's no update. There's nothing that comes out that saves Halo except for like a top tier BR, but still not going to popularize Halo the MP, right? It'll be like a Warzone type scenario.
Right.
And so it's not going to be a carryover. Hey, we're playing Halo Battlefield. Now let's go play. Like, it's not going to be a combination of both.
So Season 2 drops. They do some updates. They get rid of a slide boosting mechanic. So essentially, Halo Infinite, they do the slide, I don't know what it's called, the slide momentum, right? Like how games have...
Slide boosting sounds right, even if that's not right. It's what we're talking about.
So if you slide down a hill, you go a little faster, right? Well, there was a technique in Halo Infinite where you basically could slide on any like quick dip, so like a curb on the road or things like that, and the game would register you as like full on hill sliding. So you would get that special speed boost where you weren't necessarily supposed to get it. So it was somewhat
it felt like a movement mechanic that separated the bad from the good.
And it kind of, on paper, I guess it's a bug. However, Halo has always been with bugs that have been used on the pro level, and quite honestly, in my opinion, crucial to how a pro is played. Like, it's what kind of sets the pros from the casuals on how you can use them. Like the BXB, backpack reloading, like all of these were like main staples in old Halo games and used and wildly accepted in the pro scene, never fixed. It's just, it was what it was. And 343 is now saying like, hey, look, this isn't playing right. It's not how we want the game to be played. Some of the maps are too fast, things like that. Well, the pro scene is just blasting them for it.
Well, they did it after a whole season of play. We've had 2 majors. These guys have been practicing with the same mechanic, and it's how they probably
learned
timings for the map and like, everything. And now they have to go back and relearn all of this.
Yeah.
How to play these maps. and it just took away a skill gap that was there. And so
a lot of the pros aren't happy. Snipe Down on stream has teased that he's looking at going back to playing Apex again professionally.
And he should. I mean, he really should,
So
because
you might
Apex is doing really well.
I mean,
Apex's popularity is through the roof right now.
Yeah, they at least have their shit in order, right? Like, regardless of if it's not the most popular game. Look, it's in a right direction than Halo's going.
And it's still a very popular game, right? It's not the 100 million that it was at launch, but
it's
there's
still
like the second most popular BR out there.
So, all that being said, the esports scene I think is still good for Halo. It's just the game. It's just, look, you got to have a good game to have a good esports scene. It's 1-1. At some point, it does start affecting it. Not always, but at some point it does.
My level of watching Halo professional has gone down significantly from when the game first launched, because I was enjoying playing, which then means, I want to see what the pros are doing, so I can like try to mimic, copy, learn, and just watch. And
now it's reduced to when I text you to turn it on because it's a good match, you know?
Hey, Optic and Cloud9 are playing. That's like the only matchup that's like
Optic, Cloud9 and losers finals, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll turn that one on. You know, it's ugly. I don't, you know, it's just. Season 2 was supposed to have all this hype, and it was out of the Twitch 100. Like, it still didn't boost any numbers, and it's like Spartan, the pro player Spartan, was fined. Which, look, I get why he's fined, because he publicly was saying the game's fucking unplayable. That's a quote. Among other things, he was going back and forth with fans and talking shit to them. And, you know, obviously as a pro, you have it in your contract that you can't complain about mama's cooking. So I get it. But
I think on the cake, Tim, was his final tweet, though. You got to read it. This was like really the icing on the cake.
He quoted Conor McGregor is what it was.
Huh? This was his response to after being fined.
Yeah, so he says, I'd like to take this moment to apologize to absolutely nobody. I stand by everything I said. Which... like...
look, pros and COD and all these guys that have been fined, after they get fined, their tone changes at least briefly in the moment, right? Like they kind of accept it, move on, apologize, whether fake or real, and move on, right? This guy like doubled down on after getting fined. And look, I understand the frustration. He sees a game that he's trying to compete in dying.
I also respect the no apology. If you're gonna fine me, I'm not gonna apologize. Now, if I apologize and you give me my money back, sure, then we'll talk. Yeah. But you got my money, you're not gonna get my apology too. So, and his points stand. Like, if this is what needs to happen, if Spartan getting fined however much he got fined means Halo, the game, will listen to Halo the esports, so be it. But like,
clearly not gonna happen. We're a season in and it's only getting worse somehow. So
I know, right? It's only getting worse. In other esports news, though, because we can never find a good thing to say about Halo, Slasher, remember him?
Kind of.
Knows something about Dr. Disrespect, apparently. He tweets out for the first time in a long time, soon. S-O-O-N, soon. That's all he says.
Yeah, no clue. Like, I'm intrigued. I mean, Slasher was good for esports, whether you liked him or not. He got it. He helped elevate it into mainstream media because he was kind of the face of that, right? He did break news before it was supposed to be broken. I mean, these are not like bad things as like fans, right? So
no. Can I be honest with you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
I don't. Maybe this particular news, but I'm saying like his return. Like, we've lost a lot of beat reporters over the past few years within esports, whether it's Counter-Strike specific and Decay.
I think
and all
that's
these
for
guys
multitudes of reasons. I think that's financially, like being a beat reporter in esports probably doesn't pay the bills.
And if it does, they fire you a couple weeks in. So.
Right, they'll just get rid of you anyways. B, I think a lot of the beat reporters are coming from traditional journalist background, like Richard Lewis, right? And I think the immaturity of esports gets to them eventually.
Yeah.
Like, and coming from someone who comes from a traditional radio background, I can totally buy into that, where you're just like, yeah, I can't fake like I care about content creators anymore. Like I can't. Like I don't give a shit about your FaZe creator team or, oh, these two girls can play chess. Like I don't care. And so I'm sure that's some of it too. So I guess I'm interested to see if he's making a comeback. It's just Slasher, I think, also has a history of just talking. So, you know, I guess I'll wait for you to tell me what he says.
Deal.
And then Blizzard announces Warcraft Arclight Rumble. This is their mobile game that they teased. You know, I'll download it, but
I still don't even know what the hell it is. I watched a couple videos.
I don't either. I think it's a ripoff of the other, Clash Royale, whatever.
Clans or whatever.
Yeah.
I was confused. I'll wait to see it. I don't really
I'll have
care.
to play it. I don't play enough mobile games to know what mobile game it ripped off. So
yeah,
you know,
we'll
whatever.
let Noman fill us in on that.
Yeah, I felt bad. He was like, "Hey man, Rainbow Six opened up their mobile beta this week," and I was like, "Oh, you'll have to tell me how it is."
Yeah, that's the best I could do.
Because I'm not gonna play it. Paramount Plus launches an esports fictional comedy focused around League of Legends. I watched the trailer before the show started. It looks okay. It's on Paramount Plus, so I'll never see it, but it looks like they respected esports while trying to make it like tongue-in-cheek funny, not, hey, let's make fun of these gamers funny, which I appreciate.
Fantasy football show that was out there,
The League.
The League. It kind of gave me some vibes of like that type of dry humor a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, as Tim said, Paramount Plus, so unfortunately I'll never watch it.
But I think that's a perfect comparison to The League, where the only people who found The League funny were people who did fantasy football. I have to imagine this is going to be the same thing. Like, this will not be something I could watch with my wife and she finds funny, because she's just not going to understand any of it. Yeah. So be it. But that's it. That's all we got for E-News. And that's all we got for the show. Episode 383 of the Centering Esports Podcast. It's done. It's in the books. Thank you so much for Philly.
17 to go.
16 to go, really, right?
16 to go.
Is that how the math works? Thank you, Philly Esports, Jesus, for sponsoring the show. Always appreciate it. Check them out, phillyesports.gg. Again, episode 400 will be our last episode for the time. So if you joined late, rewind it. Check out why. Hit us up in Discord. We'll talk about it on every episode probably from here on out. And everyone else, thank you for tuning in. Whether you skipped around, listen to the whole darn thing, love you all the same. We'll be in Discord, always gaming, always down to game. So just hit us up. And that's all I got. If you're going to DreamHack Dallas, let us know. It's in a couple of weeks. Get your tickets. Enjoy day 2 of the CSGO Major. I know we will. And we will talk to you all next week. For Anuj, I'm Tim. Love your face. See ya. Bye.